Mr. Mayor, we are live.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Today is the first day of June in the year 2021. I'm Mayor Densmore, and this is a meeting of the Gulf Manor Village Council. We're meeting remotely by the authority granted us by the Ohio Legislature, given concerns continued about COVID-19 pandemic. If you will stand as you're able and join me in getting the meeting started with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, if we can get started with a roll call to establish for the record that we have a quorum to proceed. Mr. Hirth.
I have not done this for a while, so be gentle. Mr. Betcher.
Here.
Ms. Cheney.
Here.
Mr. Knipp. Mr. Pridnoff.
Present.
Ms. Snyder.
Here.
Mr. Van Harn.
Here.
Mr. Knipp is not here for this meeting.
But we otherwise have a quorum to proceed. Is that correct, Mr. Donnellan?
That is correct.
Actually, Mr.
All right.
Knipp is joining us now.
Oh, very good. All right, we have tonight's agenda is a short one. Basically, it's just going to be matters of legislation. And do I have I presume everyone has seen the agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as is?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Without objection, I'm going to take that as unanimous for all the members present, and then move on and ask Mr. Donnellan to begin our evening.
Thank you. And I'll make sure I'm not muted. Thank you. But first of all, thank you for your patience and my apologies for bringing everybody back out tonight for this emergency session. When I was certifying these resolutions last week to the auditor to request the levy information, I noted that the version that was signed by me and then accepted by the mayor had the starting date for this levy to be January 1 of next year. And again, a lot of confusion in the transition from a fire district. We don't necessarily want double taxation by having a levy on for prior membership in the Little Miami Fire and Rescue District because we are still members this calendar year, and another levy added on top of that. So I have asked over a week ago, I asked the auditor for some clarification on a number of issues, this being one of them. So it actually may be fortuitous that we have passed resolutions 14, 15, and 16, starting the taxation next year. And then these resolutions would clarify that if the way I read the statute is going to bump over to be taxed in 2023, that we'll have both of them before the auditor. I called again today to see if there was some clarification. They were not able to get back to me. So what we will have is resolutions 14, 15, and 16 for 14 mills, 15 mills, and 16 mills. And then the orderly progression of levies that would start next year. We don't want to be double taxed if we withdraw. So these resolutions posed as an alternative would start that levy collection a year later. So what I'm asking council to do would, first of all, a motion to read all three of these, each by title only, and then I'll proceed to read each one and ask you to move it as an emergency. So it will take effect immediately. We can certify these as a bundle to the auditor's office as we move into the next phase of this review of fire services.
Motion to read by title only.
First off, is there any questions, anyone? Presuming no. All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, everybody. So I'm typing and looking at the same time. So I know you like to go fast through this. If you can keep a moderate pace, I would appreciate that. So I have a second by Mr. Knipp, or a motion by Mr. Knipp and a second by Ms. Snyder.
Yes.
Correct. And so now we are voting on making this an emergency or reading by title only.
Reading by title only, correct.
Do we do that by roll or by just all in favor?
Voice vote, all in favor.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Without objection, I will say that looks like it's unanimous.
And then the first would be resolution number 2021-17, entitled an alternative resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation equal to 14 mils and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. We need a motion to approve it as an emergency and then a roll call vote.
Motion to approve as emergency.
Second.
All right, will you do a roll call for us, Mr. Hirth?
Mr. Betcher,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Knipp,
Yes.
Mr. Pridnoff,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-17 passes.
Thank you. The second is resolution number 2021-18, entitled an alternative resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation equal to 15 mils and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. A motion to approve this resolution as an emergency and then a roll call vote.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who motioned?
Roger,
Okay,
and then second was Mr. Pridenoff,
thank you.
or I'm sorry, Mr. Betcher.
Got it.
All those in favor?
No, roll call.
Roll call, sorry. I thought this was first declaring as an emergency. Are we not declaring it as emergency first?
And when you move it to be approved as an emergency, it automatically picks up the emergency language as it's part of the title and text.
Got it.
So this
Sorry,
was not title only.
We did title only as a group because they were related.
Gotcha.
All right, so roll call, please.
Mr. Betcher,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Knipp,
Yes.
Mr. Pridnoff,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-18 passes.
The final is resolution number 2021-19, entitled an alternative resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation equal to 16 mils and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. And we need a motion to approve this resolution as an emergency.
So moved and to approve as an emergency? Second.
Now
That
roll call
was
vote.
Mr. Pridenoff and Mr. Betcher seconded, and then we're ready for a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Betcher,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Knipp,
Yes.
Mr. Pridnoff,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-19 passes.
And as I mentioned, we will certify these three and the three from last Monday evening to the auditor's office to take the first step of looking to put a levy on the ballot for the November election. We'll have to choose one of these or an alternative if we decide there's a different financial model. Pass it no later than our July meeting to meet the deadline of August 1 with the Board of Elections. As I noted in our meeting last week, we anticipate getting a solid proposal as soon as tomorrow from one of our proposed partners that we can then look at the financial model and work to get something resolved and make a decision on where we are with the district. So again, thank you for your patience. My apologies again. And that's all we have on the agenda for this evening, Your Honor.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn on the floor. Is there any other questions before we proceed to that? I don't see any.
I just
So
want to say,
go ahead.
still think you're perfect, Mr. Donaldson. So
Well, I'm not Mary Poppins and I'm practically perfect in every way. Whatever that male version might be, at least that's my hope. And I would say to Mr. Betcher, this would have been a blue cooler meeting if we were live and in person.
I guess I second the motion if it wasn't seconded. So
All right, all those in favor?
Hi.
Without objection, that looks unanimous. Thank you, everyone, for your service and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.